Hey everybody, so after the top 10 movies or most pop movies I haven't seen, I was thinking about doing something else. But I couldn't think of an idea of what to come up with. And then I had an idea. I've got an idea! And yeah, all my good ideas seem to come from when I'm on the toilet. So I thought, why not do another kind of countdown kind of compilation collection of my view, like an A to Z. So I'm going to do an A to Z of horror movies, which details my favourite from A to Z and each horror movie that I like for each letter. So let's get on with it, shall we? Rock until you drop. Dance until your heart stops. Rock until you drop. Alright everyone, Geordie Paul here. Welcome back, as always, to your second or third or maybe least favourite YouTube channel, Magpie Movies. Thanks for joining me. So yeah, as I said in the intro, today I'm going to go through an A to Z, detailing every horror film that I like from A, B, C, all the way down to letter Z. I've kind of cheated on a few because some wouldn't fit. So yeah, I thought, well, you know, on the back of my top 10 of movies that are popular or have a lot of rare reviews that I haven't seen, I thought I'll do another kind of compilation video, and this time is a horror one. Yeah, I'm about, what date is it? 25th? 26 days late from Halloween, but yeah, there you go. Better late than never. So yes, so this is going to be my A to Z of horror movies, my favourite horror movies from A to Z. So, let's just do it, shall we? So let's crack on. I've got my trusty notepad, my Ghostbusters notebook here. I've spent the last week and a bit compiling all these. So let's kick it off. Straight in with the letter A is the 1979 Sir Ridley Scott directed alien sci-fi horror film, which to me is amazing, is Alien. Yeah, came out, you know, a couple of years after the back of Star Wars in 77. To me, this holds up. It's a film that spawned a franchise, has one of the best sequels ever in Aliens. But for me, Alien, for what it is, for what it produced, what it created with regards to the franchise, it started the ball moving and rolling, and it's just great. There are some good, there are some crap Alien follow-up films, but for me, as much as I like Aliens, if it's going to be like the best horror of the franchise, it has to be the first one with the sense of dread, the sense of being trapped, the sense of foreboding, the sense of that you don't know what's around the corner. What is this creature? Yeah, so Alien is for A. B is a film I went to see a long time ago when I was at uni. I went with an ex-girlfriend. We went to see the film. Then afterwards, she didn't want me to leave because she was that scared. So I had to stay over with her, which didn't go very well with her parents in the following morning. But yeah, the letter B comes from Blair Witch Project, a film that got hyped with a lot of marketing online in the papers, all apparently based on a true story of these three filmmakers who go into the look in search of the Blair Witch. But yeah, I don't think personally that it holds up to this day because everybody knows the twist, everybody knows that, well, nothing really happens in it. But for me, from a perspective of a lot that meant to me at the time when I got properly into liking films and getting into the horror genre, the Blair Witch Project holds up for me. I mean, I do like the sequel, Blair Witch Project 2, Book of Shadows, and the kind of follow-on sequel to the original, just the Blair Witch. Both for me, I like them. But for me, the Blair Witch Project stands up, in my mind, as the first and best handheld camera movie that was made, or found footage. So yes, so letter B is Blair Witch. C is a film which relies heavily on gore. A film again that I saw at the cinema when it first came out. It's the Eli Roth Cabin Fever. Yeah, it's had a remake recently where he was producer or got involved with it, but going to see this when it first came out for what it was and the impact it had and like the audience and everything. It didn't get a very high score with regards to critics, but nobody cares because it's down to your own opinion, isn't it? But Cabin Fever for me, I really enjoyed. The gore's there, the dog in the when he goes into the cabin when the girl's there, and it's just great. And the sheriff is played superbly. as a kind of comedic kind of undertone, but as kind of being evil, but he's not. Yeah, I mean, you've got the bath scene with the razor. It's great for horror. D. This is one that came straight to mind. It is George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead. Great movie. An excellent follow-up to Night of the Living Dead. And obviously it got Day of the Dead and all the rest of the sequels, the remakes. But for me, Dawn of the Dead, it obviously had its recent 4K upgrade and release from Second Sight, following on from Arrow's Dawn of the Dead Blu-ray and DVD upgrade. I love this film. I remember watching it, I think it was late when it used to be on BBC, and just watching it. And then, so I mean, in the last couple of years, I think it's the only time I've actually got back into watching it and watched it from beginning to end. But yeah, Dawn of the Dead, great film. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend watching it. Probably one of the best zombie movies made. So yes, Dawn of the Dead is D. E is a film from the director of the Resident Evil franchise. Yes, Paul W.S. Anderson. The Resident Evils I like, but they're not the best. But Event Horizon with Sam Neill and Lawrence Fishburne is a great, along the lines of Alien, space horror. The isolation of space, the unknown within space, what's going on, the madness, the psychological going through Sam Neill, dramas as such is great. The film, again, I watched it recently, holds up. It's currently obviously only on Blu-ray, but if you get the iTunes, it's in 4K. It's one of my all-time favourite movies. I remember got to see this at the cinema, not knowing what the hell this was about. Came out of it a bit rattled, but thoroughly enjoyed it. So if you haven't seen Event Horizon, it's kind of one of those, it's a hidden gem, but if you know it, obviously it isn't. But a lot of people who are getting into films aren't aware of the film. I just think of Paul W.S. Anderson as the Resident Evil director and the husband of Mia Jovovich. But no, definitely highly recommend Event Horizon. If you haven't seen it, please do. F is the 1986 David Cronenberg remake of the 1950s Vincent Price movies, The Fly, with Jeff Goldblum and Gina Davis. Great movie. The practical effects on this for the Brundle fly transformation are, for that time, brilliant. You know, you've got the sick regurgitation, the transformation at the end when it becomes the fly. Even the teleportation devices, the kind of hive-esque designs, they're memorable. If everyone thinks of The Fly, they think of Jeff Goldblum and they think of the two teleportation devices. Even if you go to Florida now for like the Universal backlot, I remember when I went, on part of the tour is you get like a makeup and monster thing. And when this was like a couple of years ago, well, 10 years ago, they've got the teleportation machines there. The film I watched, I think about 4 or 5 months ago, thoroughly enjoyed it once again. It's great. So if you haven't seen The Fly, watch it. And if you have, you know what it is. G. I struggled with G, if I'm honest with you. And I thought, well, let's go down the Go route. And there was a film I watched about 6-7 years ago. Another Eli Roth produced one called The Green Inferno. Now, whether or not this is a remake, I don't know. I haven't done my research into finding out whether it is a remake of the original. But The Green Inferno, about a group of activists who get captured by cannibals in the jungle or in the rainforests. And then things happen. And there are dismemberments. And there is blood, killer ants, gore. Overload of gore. Yes, Green Inferno. Give it a watch, but not for the faint of heart and the faint of stomachs. H. What more could you do? 1978's Halloween. John Carpenter's classic. Again, as with Alien and Ridley Scott, it spawned a franchise. Halloween 1978 to me is my favourite Halloween. It is the go-to, like for me at Christmas is Die Hard. For me to go to at Halloween is Halloween. Introduced Michael Myers as the Shape. Introduced the franchise, as I said. Introduced William Shatner's mask to be Michael Myers' face. Yeah, and it also kind of spawned the slasher genre, really. If it wasn't, I'm guessing, I could be wrong, but if it wasn't for Halloween, we wouldn't have Freddy Krueger in The Nightmare on Elm Street, and we wouldn't have Jason in the Friday the 13th. We probably wouldn't have Sleepaway Camp, The Burning, the back catalogue of Arrow video films, really. So yes, so H is for Halloween. I, Another kind of hidden gem, but at the same time, I think it's, whenever anybody asks what's your favourite horror film of this letter, they'll probably say the same thing, and that is It Follows, a kind of supernatural teen kind of horror where a spirit or entity stalks a user and then passes from that individual to another individual via, if they have sex. So if I've got it and it's stalking me, I need to have sex with somebody, and then once I've done that, that person's then stalking them, or that entity is stalking them. It could be an old woman, a young boy, it could be anybody. So yeah, It Follows is really, really good, and I thoroughly recommend it. So if you haven't seen it, again, watch It Follows. Jay, another film that I watched back in the day at the cinema, Jeepers Creepers. Kind of spawned a franchise, because we've got obviously 2, crap 3, and then we're having the new reboot or remake or sequel as such coming soon. But Jeepers Creepers is another film that kind of, because we didn't have trailers properly back in the day, or like viral or internet-based advertising as such as it is now. It came out of the blue, went to the cinema to see it, thoroughly enjoyed it. And I always remember that, the Jeepers Creepers song as well. But yeah, there you go. Jay's Jeepers Creepers. K. Now, I've kind of cheated on this one because I couldn't think of K. They're obviously just Killer Clowns, but I haven't seen it yet. But I went for Know What You Did Last Summer. Yes. No, I Know What You Did Last Summer. Again, another slasher on the back of the Scream popularity. We got I Know What You Did Last Summer. A recent release from 88 Films in a trilogy box set. Obviously, we all know there's 1 and 2 and then the shitty third one. But, Sarah Michelle Gellar, her husband, and I've forgotten the names of the other guys, ladies, etc. in it as well. But yeah, I Know What You Did Last Summer. Great slasher. Great with a watch. So there you go. What we got next? L. L, probably one of the best vampire movies ever, which is The Lost Boys with Kiefer Sutherland. Corey Haim. Great horror movie. Again, kind of spawned the franchise. I think we're getting a remake. But yeah, very, very good film. Give it a watch. I'm sure, I know there's a lot of people watch this who will have Lost Boys as probably one of their all-time favourite films, and probably the same age as myself, because it is a very, when you're growing up and these came out, you always remember them. So yeah, so that's Lost Boys. It's Midsommar. I do enjoy it. Is it a horror? Well, I kind of think it is, because it's psychological horror along the similar lines of The Wicker Man. It's about a girl's journey of isolation to expressing herself and freeing herself and trying to find out where she can become socially accepted, and she has to go through a journey to find this. So yeah, I know it gets a lot of hate, but there's a lot of love for it. But Ari Aster's Midsommar is a great movie for me. The director's cut of over 3 hours is great. So yeah, there you go, Midsommar. N. The original Wes Craven Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, again, following on the back of the slasher success of 1978's Halloween, Wes Craven came along with Nightmare on Elm Street with a very meagre budget to do it. It was the first New Line Cinema movie that got released under their new picture company. Had to get a lot of financing in order to do it. There was a lot of delays with regards to financial backing for it, but it got released, became a success, and again, spawned a franchise. We've had a remake, which isn't the best, but I don't mind it. I think the Nightmare on Elm Street films hold up better than the Friday the 13th ones. So yeah, so there you go. Freddy Krueger is legendary in this. Robert Englund made his name on this after the TV show V, where he was just kind of a comedy side character, but in this he became the villain of all time. So yes, Nightmare on Elm Street number 1 is letter N. O is the original Omen with Gregory Peck and Damien and 666. It's been a while since I've seen it. They obviously did the remake, but this first one for me is the best one, especially the scene at the end, which I won't go into with the glass. But yeah, definitely recommend the original The Omen. Again, kind of a franchise as such, because you had 2 or 3 films after that, and then you had the remake. Obviously, Sam Neill was in the 3rd one. So yeah, so that's the original Omen. P, controversial opinion, this one, is I like the remake of Stephen King's Pet Sematary. Yeah, I know a lot of people have a lot of love for the original one, the original adaptation, which then had a sequel with Edward Furlong was in the sequel. But I like the remake. I like it how it's got alternative ending. I like a lot more stuff. I don't know, I just like the new one better. I think it's more gripping, although the first one's a lot more horror. But from a personal opinion, I like this one. Q. I struggled again with Q. So basically, I've gone with Quarantine, the American remake of the Spanish found footage of Wreck. Yeah, that's what I could think of. Quarantine. Or I've gone for Wreck. Yes, the Spanish found footage viral infection film that just had a recent Arrow release. It's got 3 sequels and obviously the remake, as I mentioned earlier. To me, this is after Blair Witch. Well, Blair Witch was my favourite handheld, but no, it's this one. Wreck is really, really good. So yes, what more can you say about Wreck? If you haven't seen it, please do. It's on Arrow. It's got a great upgrade. It's got great extra features, and then you can watch the sequels. 3rd and 4th aren't probably the best. Genesis and Apocalypse, but Wreck 2 is worth a watch because it's a bit like Halloween 2. It kind of goes directly after the first one. The letter S. Stephen King again. Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. Yes, 1980s The Shining. For me, it's a masterpiece of filmmaking. Jack Nicholson at his finest. We've recently had the kind of sequel, Doctor Sleep. I'm very well aware, I think, and I could be wrong, that Stephen King didn't like the Stanley Kubrick adaptation of it, and he much preferred the TV version, which didn't go down very well with anybody else other than Stephen King. But The Shining, you know, here's Johnny, I'll huff and I'll puff, scene, the Overlook Hotel. There's a lot of key scenes in it, a lot of key names, words, titles. That yeah, The Shining is letter S. T. One of my personal favourites is John Carpenter's 1982 classic The Thing with Kurt Russell. Brilliant movie. One of my absolute all-time favourites. It's probably my top 10, if not top 5 films of all time. Released recently again on 4K via the lovely box set by Universal. Amazing film. Great special effects, practical effects again for the time. Obviously at the time when it came out, it wasn't a critical success, but obviously it's got a cult following, and the more you watch it, the more you understand why. This film is brilliant. Yeah, so there you go. That is John Carpenter's The Thing. I could go on about The Thing for so long, but I don't want to because it's a long list. You, again, I struggled with You, so I went for Urban Legend, another 90s classic I rewatch of the day. It's not the best, but it's only what I can think of, so I'm going to go for You for Urban Legend. V is M. Night Shyamalan's The Visit, another kind of his interpretation of a found footage kind of handheld video camera with twist at the end, which you would always get with M. Night Shyamalan movie. Watched it twice. First time I was on it, second time I really enjoyed it. So yes, that's The Visit. W, I've gone for Benicio del Toro's The Wolfman. I just enjoyed it. I mean, The Wolfman is my favourite Universal monster. It's my favourite monster. So yeah, so there's The Wolfman. X, I didn't know. I've left X. I mean, you've got Extra, but I haven't seen X-Ray Eyes Man or whatever. I haven't seen it, so I'm going to have to bypass X. Y, I've gone for You're Next. First time I watched this, I didn't really enjoy it. Second time, I did. So yeah, it's You're Next. And Z is Zombieland, the Woody Harrelson one. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that, especially with the Bill Murray cameo. The second one, Double Tap, is all right, but the first one's still the best. So there you go. And that is my A to Z of favourite horror movies. Just jumping in here because I completely forgot to do some tags. So sorry about that, everybody. I'm going to tag Jordan, aka Movie Worm, and of course Leon over at Leon Talks Film. So guys, get your thinking caps on, do you A to Z, and let me see what your favourite movies are. Anyway, back to me. So, did you like my favourite horror movie A to Z? If you didn't, comment below. For A letters all the way through to Z, what did you think? Or what would you put as your letters, you know, your favourite movies to go along with it? Let me know in the comments. As always, if you like this video or any other videos similar to this of my whole kind of content, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, so whenever I do a new video, you'll be the first to know. Other than that, thank you so much for sticking along to the end. I know it's a long video. And that's it. That's the end of the video. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all on my next video. This is Jody Paul, last surviving member of Magpie Movies, signing out, and I'll see you all very soon.